I've been getting in trouble for starting these meetings early. It's 10 o'clock, so I'm going to call this meeting to order. And I didn't get a list of a special guest tonight or today, and so the only one out there that I see that we always introduce is Bobby Stem from AGC. We're glad to have you with us today. At this time, Madam Secretary, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Coburn. Coburn here. Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley here.
Mr. Shannon.
Here.
Mr. Freimiller.
Freimiller here.
Mr. McCowan.
McCowan here.
Mr. Dyson.
Dyson here.
Mr. Alexander. Mr. LaForge.
Here.
Mr. Peterson.
Here.
At this time, I'll turn it over to our secretary. Would you like to come up and do your presentation at this point?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, just got a brief announcement this morning before we get started, and that is to acknowledge Rick Johnson as our new Director of Project Delivery. Rick is a longtime employee of the department, 25 plus years. Rick has extensive background in project management, facilities management. We're really excited to have him in the new project delivery role. As you will recall, project delivery is a new focus area for us in the context of our organizational modernization. And as the Director of Project Delivery, Rick will have some of our key departments that are engaged and involved in project delivery, like environmental and right-of-way, more directly aligned, and then he'll interact with our design areas to make sure that we are on schedule, in scope, and on budget. So again, we're really looking forward to Rick's working in this new role, and certainly congratulate him on being selected. So Rick. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Taylor, you are recognized for your presentations.
Mr. Chairman, Secretary Gatt stole my thunder. I was going to introduce Rick to you, but I will second everything that he said. We're excited to have him. He was selected amongst a group of excellent candidates, and Rick comes to us from as Director of Strategic Assets, and we're happy to have him. Thank you, sir.
I didn't mean to leave you out. Thank you, and we're glad to have Rick in that position. Thank you. Mr. Taylor, my program here says we're going to have presentations by Mr. Taylor on, that was it. Huh? That's the one we just did. I'm sorry. Approval of the minutes. Excuse me for I'm trying to get my location on my agenda. Madam Secretary. No, we just.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
There we go, Bob. Thank you. And I need a second. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn.
I'll try not to screw up the rest of the meeting.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon.
Yes.
Mr. Freimiller.
Freimiller, yes.
Mr. McCowan.
McCowan, yes.
Mr. Dyson.
Dyson, abstain.
Mr. LaForge.
Abstain also. I wasn't here.
Mr. Peterson.
Here.
The motion passed, and is a vote of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 2. At this time, the consent docket. The consent docket includes items number 11, 12, and 13.
Move for approval on the consent agenda.
Second, LaForge.
We have a motion and second. Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon.
Yes.
Mr. Freimiller.
Freimiller, yes.
Mr. McCowan.
McCowan, yes.
Mr. Dyson.
Dyson, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Motion carries. We'll move to item number 14 on the program. Mr. Tigler, you're recognized for presentation.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
I don't know
Thank
what's
you.
different from what it's been being month to month. I'm sorry for being so
You're fine this
out of
morning.
sync today.
Again, good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Mr. Secretary. Item 14, I have just one programming item this month. This is in Tulsa County, Commission District 8. The department requests approval to program a project to repair the vehicle impact damage to 129th West Avenue over US 64. The estimated cost of this project is $160,000 using state aid funds. Project can be ready for a June 2022 letting, and the party responsible for the damage is known. Approval is recommended. Try to answer any questions if you folks have anything.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item number 14?
So moved, Grimsley.
Second.
Have a motion, second. Any discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon.
Yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
McCown, yes.
Mr. Dyson,
Dyson, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Item 15, engineering contracts this month. I have 4 parts. Part A is statewide, all districts. This is our off-system bridge inspection. The National Bridge Inspection Standards require that all bridges on public roads be inspected once every 2 years. The department has qualified the following consultants to perform these inspections. They are with Burgess and Nyepel, CEC Corporation, Consor Engineers, EST, Garver, and Guy Engineering Services. The aggregate not to exceed amount for these 6 contracts is $8,396,700. Part B is also a statewide, all districts. Our off-system bridge inspections are for our local government, so these are the bridges on public roads. Same National Bridge Inspection Standards require that all bridges be inspected at least every 2 years. Department has qualified the following circuit engineering districts to perform these inspections. It is CED2, CED3, CED4, CED7, and CED8. Aggregate not to exceed amount for these 5 contracts is $3,078,250. Part C, also statewide, all districts. This is our on-demand aesthetic design contract. The department has selected 2 firms to provide this service. They are Creative Design Resolutions and Rhombic Engineering. The aggregate not to exceed amount for these 2 contracts is $500,000. And finally, Part D in Beckham County in District 5. Department has selected Smith Roberts Baldischweiler to prepare construction plans for State Highway 6. The total not to exceed amount is $1,185,170. This project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with a scheduled let date of 2026. Approval is recommended. Try to answer any questions if you have any this morning.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn,
Mr.
yes.
Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon.
Yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
Yeah, McCown, yes.
Mr. Dyson,
Dyson, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Item number 16 are my engineering contract supplements. I have 2 parts this month. Part A is in Garfield County in District 4. Department previously authorized Triad Design Group to do the preliminary engineering and final design plans for US 412. Supplement not to exceed amount is $1,035,100. This project is in the 8-year construction work plan with a scheduled let date in 2027. And Part B in Tulsa County in District 8. Department previously authorized Garver to prepare construction plans for US 64 and US 169. Supplement not to exceed amount is $88,399. This project is also in the 8-year construction work plan, scheduled let date in 2022. Approval is recommended. Try to answer any questions this morning, if you have it.
You've heard the motion. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for item number 16?
Motion, Dyson.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Coburn.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon,
Yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
McCown, yes.
Mr. Dyson,
Dyson, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
Yes. LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Passed by unanimous. Thank you. Item number 17 is change orders with a cumulative total of $75,000 or less. Mr. Leonard, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I'd like to present item number 17, parts A through double H. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders of $75,000 or less. This item is presented for your information only. No action is necessary, but I'd be glad to try and answer any questions.
These change orders were discussed in detail in our committee meetings. If there's no questions, Mr. Leonard, you're recognized to present item number 18, change orders with cumulative total greater than $75,000.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, item number 18, parts A through double I. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders greater than $75,000. Your approval is recommended, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item number 18?
Move item be approved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, any discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn.
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon.
Yes.
Mr. Frymiller.
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen.
McCown, yes.
Mr. Dyson.
Dyson, yes.
Mr. LaForge.
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Passed by unanimous. Item number 19 is proposed bid openings. Mr. Hackney, you're recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Item 19, proposed bid openings consists of the final April 2022, the tentative May 2022, and the tentative June 2022 bid openings. The department recommends approval.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 19?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second. Peterson.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn.
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon.
Yes.
Mr. Frymiller.
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen.
McCown, yes.
Mr. Dyson.
Dyson, yes.
Mr. LaForge.
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Thank you, and it passed by unanimous vote. Mrs. Helms, item number 20 is damages to state property. You're recognized to present.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Agenda item 20 for settlement to damages to state property, and it has two parts. In both instances, total damages exceed the policy limit, and the request and recommendation is to accept the insurance company's offer and the successing write-off, and the total of both of these items is $257.42. I need to point out a Scribner's error in Part B. The department requests and recommends approval of this item.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item number 20?
Motion approved.
Second, any?
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn.
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon.
Yes.
Mr. Frymiller.
Frymiller, yes.
Mr.
McCown,
McCowen.
yes.
Mr. Dyson.
Dyson, yes.
Mr. LaForge.
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Thank you. That passed by unanimous vote. Item number 21 is amendment to Department Administrative Rules. Ms. Brown, you're recognized to present.
Chairman, Commissioners, item 21, parts A through M, are proposed amendments to the department's administrative rules. The majority of the amendments consist of language cleanup and definition establishment according to statute and/or department procedure. Pending commission approval, the proposed amendments will then be submitted to the legislature for approval. Your approval is recommended, and I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved, Grimsley.
Do I have a second?
Second, Coburn.
Is there any discussion or questions? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn.
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon.
Yes.
Mr. Frymiller.
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen.
McCown, yes.
Mr. Dyson.
Dyson, yes.
Mr. LaForge.
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Motion approved by unanimous vote. Item number 22 is request for final approval of the county designation ordered for fiscal year 2022 Ms. Williams, you're recognized to present.
Thank you. Agenda item number 22 is a request for final approval of the county designation order for FY 2022. Annually, this designation order is created to help determine the ranking in which counties can participate in the equipment revolving fund. Your approval is recommended. I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval?
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion from anyone on this?
That's what your discussion. My understanding is this has been a pretty successful program, I think, and probably more so than we anticipated. So I think it's very positive.
Mr. Coburn?
Any
Coburn, yes.
discussion?
Mr. Grimsley?
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon?
Yes.
Mr. Freimiller?
Primary, yes.
Mr. McCowen?
McCowen, yes.
Mr. Dyson?
Dyson, yes.
Mr. LaForge?
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
Item number 23 is awarded, Mr. Delch, you're up for announcement of the new bid awards.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman. Item number 23 are the department's recommendations from the January 20th bid opening. It is recommended that the following items from the January 20th bid opening referred to by call order be awarded. As call orders 100, 105, 110, 115, 120, 125, 127, 150, 160, 175, 185, 195, 200, 202 with the add alternate, 205, 215, 240, 245, 250, 255, 270, 275, 295, 300, 305, 310, 312 with the base bid only, and call order 315. It is recommended that the following items from the January 20th bid opening referred to by call order be rejected. Call orders 135 and 140 in lieu of the combined project 150. Call order 190. Call orders 230 and 235 in lieu of the combined project 240. And call orders 285 and 290 in lieu of project 295. And lastly, it is recommended that the decision regarding either award or rejection for the following item from the January 20th bid opening referred to by call order be deferred in accordance with state statutes for a period not to exceed 90 days, and that's call order 273. This concludes our recommendations for award, and your approval is requested.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved, Grimsley.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn?
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley?
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon?
Yes.
Mr. Freimiller?
Primary, yes.
Mr. McCowen?
McCown, yes.
Mr. Dyson?
Dyson, yes.
Mr. LaForge?
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Item number 24 is the director's report. Secretary Gantz, you have been recognized to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, talk just momentarily about the winter storm that we experienced last week, and I think we've got some slides that are going to show up on the screen as we visit a little bit, but pretty tough storm event. Spanned the entire state. All 77 counties received some type of winter weather, and I couldn't be prouder of the way that our team and our crews responded, both the Department of Transportation and Turnpike Authority. They really started with pre-treating on Monday and had an eye to it certainly coming out of that last weekend. But the type of storm event we experienced that really spanned about a 36 or 48 hour period of frozen precipitation coming in waves. And some significant accumulation, ranging from just a couple of inches northwest to some pretty significant accumulation on the eastern side of the state that was sometimes 10 or more inches, and wind driven. So drifting was a problem. We had several highways closed because of snow drifts. But for the most part, by really Friday about midday, we had things pretty well cleaned up. Once we engage, the guys and gals out there that are the boots on the ground really take care of business, and they stay hooked up until the highways are as safe as we can get them. They worked through yesterday morning, really getting out and sanding and salting some refreeze areas where we might have had some of the melting activity going on. But again, all in all, they did an exceptional job of managing that storm event once again. For a state like Oklahoma that, you know, we're not Michigan where we do this every week, for us to stand up the resources and get out there and get after it is significant. And again, I want to really recognize the crews and their efforts. The other thing that happens when we see a major storm event, and I really credit this to Oklahoma's preparations, as we see a major storm event coming in, Governor Stitt will typically declare an emergency in advance of those storm events. That opens the door up for us to really get out and make purchases and acquisitions if we need to. The other thing I think that Oklahoma does really, really well is we've got a stranded motorist assistance recovery team, SMART team, and that's a combination of an idea that was come up with in our emergency management area, and it's a partnership between the Highway Patrol and the National Guard. And they have the ability and do mobilize in advance of these serious storm events. And if somebody gets stranded, and we always have problems, there's going to be an accident that stops traffic completely, they can get out and respond to motorists that may be stuck in that traffic backup and try to help us take care of them while we get the roads cleared. And again, the department's really good at managing these storm events, but we always have an incident out there with the major ones. And I think Oklahoma responds with the Oklahoma standard 100% of the time, and we get out there and get things done. So again, credit to the teams, credit to our partners. Highway Patrol is just does a phenomenal job with their, you know, their resources are down, but their response is not. They cover so much ground and do a really tremendous job for the state of Oklahoma. So appreciation and thanks all around. Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act at the federal level. You know, we continue to operate under a continuing resolution through February 18th. A little bit of budgetary discussion at the federal level going on over the weekend, so we know the Congress is thinking about what's next. The challenge that we have in transportation is without a full year's worth of funding authorization, the flexibility that we have to manage our projects within the funding categories and our programs within the funding categories becomes pretty difficult. Again, we're halfway through the fiscal year already. We really need the other half of the dollars available to us so we can manage the programs through the end of the year. So again, we'll monitor conditions and adapt to whatever might come out of the Congress over the coming month, and certainly keep you apprised of anything that comes up that causes us to have to make adjustments or changes in our plans for the springtime. We are coming into the spring construction season, and certainly we want the ability to get our full contingent of construction projects going and out there on the highways. Also, you may have picked up some media related to the Federal Bridge Formula Program that was announced. That program is separate from our highway program, but it's something that's not unfamiliar. Many times across the course of and again, I was doing the arithmetic the other day. This is my 6th highway bill. So we've been through this drill a few times. We've had programs that were bridge dedicated revenues before. The BR program, the BRO program is probably one of the most recent ones. This is just directing federal dollars specifically for bridge infrastructure. One of the unique aspects of the bridge formula programs is it does have a mandatory set aside for off-system bridges. That'll be county and local bridges. The department will come up with a strategy on how to manage this program, and we'll have better information for you probably by the March commission meeting. So we're getting our arms wrapped around that. We will put and for Oklahoma, for fiscal 23, that'll amount, or 22, that'll amount to about $53 million. we'll make sure that those dollars find their way into infrastructure improvements. On the state highway system, with your support and your assistance, we've done a tremendous job managing our structurally deficient bridge problem, and that will only continue. We've got plenty of work left to do. Highway fatalities, we're going the wrong direction, not just in Oklahoma, but as a country with highway fatalities. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, reported that fatalities increased 12% nationally from 2020 to 2021, and some individual states saw as much as a 30% increase. Oklahoma, as reported by our Highway Safety Office, went from 654 fatalities in 2020 to 749 in 2021, according to the latest preliminary estimates. And, you know, that's not a direction we want to be going in. Some of that increase is probably attributed to some changing driving habits. Traffic volumes were down some during COVID. Now that we're seeing volumes come back up to normal and even increase, you know, some of the driving habits that we might have formulated during decreased traffic, like maybe exceeding the speed limit a little too much, we need to pay attention to more. Also, distracted driving is a never-ending challenge out there on the highways. So we've got to do a better job of putting away distractions, paying attention to driver responsibility, and that means keeping an eye on what's in front of you, whether it's a construction work zone or whether it's just changes in general traffic. In Oklahoma, one of the things that makes a difference in our fatalities is our lack of seatbelt usage. About 50% of the fatalities that we have in Oklahoma are occupants that are not wearing a seatbelt. And we can do better than that as a state. If you really drill down into that statistic, you're about 45, almost 50% more likely to be severely injured or to be a fatality in an accident if you are unbuckled. You know, that's just a simple law of inertia. And again, you can't overcome that. You give yourself the best chance if you'll just buckle that seatbelt. That's your first line of defense in an accident. And nobody ever leaves the house in the morning intending to have an accident, but they happen every day. So again, you're going to hear us talk a lot about seatbelt usage in the coming year. That's kind of a little bit of a soapbox that I've been on now for a couple of years, and I'm not going to stop. We've got to do better. That is Oklahoma's best chance. We're ranked in the lower tier right now nationally for seatbelt use. The Highway Safety Office says we're about 84% usage. We need to get to 94% to be in the top 10. I'd like to see it 100%. Because again, that is what will make an immediate effect and have an immediate effect on our fatalities. We'll continue our work on safety initiatives like adding shoulders to our Rural 2 lanes where those severe injury and fatality rates are the highest. That is a priority for us, and certainly we see that reflected in our 8-year construction work plan projects. So we're going to stay after the safety side of it with engineering and investment in infrastructure, but we need the travel and public's help. Legislative session starts today. We're looking forward to a good legislative session. I'm certain the governor will have a favorable message for us in his State of the State address today. And state budget outlook is better than it has been from the department's perspective. We've talked about the budget, made a presentation to both the House and the Senate. And if you boil our fundamental budgetary request down to the lowest level, it's simply to receive our full statutory allocation of motor fuel tax. That statutory allocation has been taken down really for the last 10 or 12 years in the face of some tough budgetary conditions. We're hopeful that this is the year we get back to our full statutory allocation of motor fuel, and we're going to be working real hard this legislative session to try to keep that message front and center. Very much appreciate your consideration this morning of the bridge project in Grant County. That is a contract that bundles 29 smaller county bridges into one project, including the replacement of some old wooden structures that are way beyond the end of their life cycle. We received a grant to help us work with county government on that particular project to the tune of about $3.5 million in the Competitive Highway Bridge Program, funded by the USDOT. Grant County partnered up with some CIRB funding and some county funding, and we're really excited to get that project moving forward and put a dent in the structurally deficient bridge numbers in Grant County in particular. A lot of work left to do out there on the local system, and quite frankly, a lot of work left out there to do on the highway system. We've made tremendous progress on our structurally deficient bridge numbers, but even on the highway system, we've still got more than 1,100 that are 80 years old. So we've got to be diligent. We've got to continue to invest in our bridges and work hard to give Oklahoma the transportation system that we're going to need to support us for the future. So, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the opportunity to be in front of the commission this morning. I'm happy to answer any questions that any one of you may have.
While you're there, I would like to say on behalf of this commission and the people of Oklahoma, thank you for you and your organization and what you do every day, but especially when we have a weather event like we've had this week. You guys run an incredible operation in the state of Oklahoma, and I'm proud to get to serve on this commission.
Thank you,
Are there any
Commissioner.
questions? Yeah, just a little bit of comments. I think on the increase of fatalities, that's something that's been happening over several years, and the fatalities doesn't count the I think it's 4 million injuries that require some sort of a medical assistance, and this is a tremendous cost to society. You know, financial, lost time, all sorts of things like that. The unfortunate thing is we'd made progress for decades, and then around 2015, effects of distracted driving, things like that. We're in this precarious position now where things like driver assist are not widespread. There are technologies that are going to make things better, but those technologies are not going to work very well if you don't wear your seatbelt. And so we just have to figure out how we lead by example or do something. We have to, it's just so unfortunate when we see other modes of transportation like aviation continue to get safer. You know, we're in this gilded golden age of safety, and yet ground transportation is going worse. It's very unfortunate, but I think it's going to have to take some, leadership to really tackle the seatbelt problem. I'm optimistic in a decade that we're going to have technology cutting down that number a little bit, just as we see the driver assist and we move more toward a little bit of autonomy in ways that'll help with safety. But it's still unfortunate that we are where we are right now, I think. So.
And Commissioner, the fleet will turn over over time.
Right.
But to your point, it's not going to happen nearly fast enough.
Right.
Whether that's 10 or 20 years remains to be seen. But those driver assist technologies will eventually make a difference, even to the point of full autonomous vehicles being out there on the highways. But we're a long ways from there yet.
Right.
And we've got a lot of management in front of us and a lot of personal responsibility to help reduce those numbers before we get to the point where our cars are taking care of that business for us.
I agree.
So appreciate that point.
Mr. Secretary, do you think it's time maybe to bring the speed limits back down?
Commissioner, the thing that I think we really need to focus on is drive the posted speed limit, don't exceed it. That will help more than anything. And then the second part of that is the posted speed limit, that black and white speed limit that's posted out there on the highways and all the city streets, county roads, that is for the best driving conditions. Again, it goes back to personal responsibility. If it's wet, if it's foggy, if it's slick like we had last week, you have to adjust your speed accordingly. And again, too many folks just don't take the responsibility to do that, and be careful out there. So again, I think it's a number of different things. One, if we get everybody to drive the posted speed limit, we'll be a whole lot better off. Number two, again, recognize the responsibility that goes along with having that driver's license and being responsible for your own actions. So
the actual driving speed limit is 10 over posted on any road I'm on. If I'm driving the speed limit, I'm feeling like I'm going to get run over.
Certainly feels that way.
On the storm response, how many trucks now within ODOT, the plow trucks, have cameras, the live cameras? Do we have quite a bit of that?
We will eventually get to where there's one in every truck.
Right.
It's a little bit variable right now. Brian and I were just talking this morning. Our truck-mounted cameras weren't as good as they have been out there for this last storm event. My understanding is that was partially attributed to a software upgrade and equipment upgrade that was going on. So our goal is to eventually have all of our trucks equipped. Again, if you measure by the last storm, we were not nearly where I'd like to see us with the plow cams. That's a huge, really important tool that's out there for the traveling public to utilize. So we've got to get better, and again, with a goal to eventually get those in all of our trucks.
Yeah, and as a member of the traveling public, I appreciate those things, because it can help you make a decision, go or no go, when you can look out there and see what's happening in real time. And so that's very valuable, I think.
Absolutely does, and with our, the weather systems that are out there, whether it's the ARWIS or the, even the Mesonet, if you're really paying attention, you can see everything from ground temps to getting a static picture of what the conditions look like at any given time. So, again, it's worth using those resources and trying to make good decisions when you do have to travel.
Any other comments? If not, I would open the floor for a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn?
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley?
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon?
Yes.
Mr. Frymiller?
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen?
McCown, yes.
Mr. Dyson?
Dyson, yes.
Mr. LaForge?
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes. We have a unanimous vote. We are adjourned. Thank you all for being here today.